Hello, my leaders. Thank you guys so much again for serving this week. This week is going to be a really good week. We are wrapping up our series on bounce back. And bounce back is, what do we bounce back on? Well, we bounce back on faith. And so it's all about having a firm foundation of faith in the Lord so that whenever life happens, whenever bad things happen to us, whenever life comes, we can bounce back on faith. And the one specifically for today is all about just how we can keep going because of what Jesus did for us, right? And so it's this beautiful story of keep holding on because we're going to keep looking to Jesus because it's all about Jesus and what he has done for us. And so as we look into that, our problems start to disappear, right? And so that's what we're bouncing back on today. Now, with this bounce back theme, your first activity is going to be you're going to have all of these different cards cut out for you. And basically you will discreetly hand a card to a kid. Don't let any of the other kids see what the card is. And then what they're going to do with that is act out how the ball in their card is used to play a sport. Okay. So for instance, if I have like a football, right, then they have the football card. They see that they're not looking at their card anymore. It's in their pocket or whatever. And then they have to act out like they're playing football, or if it's baseball, right? You can kind of do a baseball bat or something like that. And so they're trying to get the other kids to guess what the game is. And then again, relating it back to balls, right? Because we are talking about bouncing back. And so balls bounce, bounce back, get it? Okay, cool. So awesome. This next activity, if you've been using the medals and doing the medals with all the different bottom lines or the abbreviations of the bottom lines, then it is the last week. So we get to put all of those into a necklace. Okay, so you will have these cut out for you, and then, or you'll be able to cut them out, and then you'll also have some string or some ribbon that you can make into a necklace. And so you'll actually glue the little balls with the bottom line info on them onto these, and then they'll be able to wear it as a necklace. Okay, so again, you should have God is always with you, which is the Holy Spirit. So you should have Holy Spirit or HS on there. You should have keep going. You should have joy, and then today you're going to write Jesus did it first. And so as we look at these and as we craft these a little bit more, make them colorful, whatever, then we just need to remember that Jesus did all of this first, and he's already gone through life, and he's already conquered every temptation and sin that has been thrown at him. And so we can also look to him for our faith and make sure that we're focusing on him no matter what's going on in our lives. Awesome. Okay. And then we're going to have a tennis ball activity. And what you're going to do with this is you're going to have like a start line somewhere in the room. You can use the painter's tape if you want. Just make sure you rip up the painter's tape when you're done with that. And what you're going to do is have everyone line up in pairs. And so as they're in their pair, you'll give them a tennis ball. And then their goal is to get down to the other side of the room and back as fast as possible with this tennis ball, basically in between their feet or their legs. Okay. Now here's the thing. Only the partner is able to put the ball back if it drops on the floor, okay? And so make sure it's not too high up, obviously, but put it more towards like their shoes or something and see if they can scoot it all the way to the finish line and back, and whichever team does that wins. But if the ball gets lost or moves off of the person, then only the partner is able to put that back on the kid. So it's all about how someone is always there to help us bounce back, right? And that's God. And we can always look at Jesus' example of how he did it, right? And so that's what this activity is all about. Now this next one, you will have a really big obstacle course, or at least a lot of stuff to make an obstacle course out of. Okay, so you have stuff like a jump rope, or you can move some chairs around. You can basically put an obstacle course together where they have to get through it, and their goal is to get through it in about 15 seconds. And so see if you can make it at least hard enough to not get through it in 15 seconds or be really close, right? And basically when they come up to like a chair, they have to crawl under the chair. If they go to the jump rope, they have to do 5 jump ropes with the jump rope, something like that, to kind of keep it really interesting and exciting for them and whatnot. But what they're doing is, again, going back to keep going because what Jesus did for you, right? So when we come up to obstacles and things that become in our way to the finish line, then we need to just make sure that we are being careful with those obstacles and not looking at them as obstacles, but instead looking at them as goals to get over, right? So that's going to be that activity. This next one, you need a tarp. And with this tarp, you will lay it out on the ground, and basically you'll have all the kids stand on the tarp. And their goal is to fold it as many times as possible without anyone ever stepping off the tarp. And so the way to do this is usually just to fold it part way, and then everyone steps on the new part that's folded, and then to fold it again, and then to keep going from there. And then you'll have some discussion questions. And so go through those discussion questions and make sure you're going through those, especially with those older kids, so that they get into the Bible story questions. Now, remember that you can also ask these questions right after, and so right after the Bible story, so that way it's fresh in their mind. It just depends on your group and how your group is going to work that around, okay? This last one, you'll have just those little medals, and it's a prayer activity. And so kind of hold those medals, be like, look, let's review what these medals are about. We can have joy. We can choose joy in our faith. We know that the Holy Spirit is always with us, and we have the example of Jesus that is always there that we can bounce back on, right? And so just kind of go through those again and remember those as you go into a prayer time together. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much. But there is also one more thing. Next week is actually going to be a family weekend. And so we won't have any of the elementary kids, okay? You guys are off for this week. So take a break. You guys deserve it. See you guys soon. Thanks.